Okay. We are live streamed, we are live, we are recording, we are ready to go. So hello everybody. Wow, okay, I can see everybody's still coming in. So I will start this session with a welcome to country, which is to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm on and that we are meeting virtually today. I'd like to pay my respects to their elders past and present, and I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. So with that, hello, my name is Danielle Stein Fairhurst. I am a financial modelling specialist coming to you from Sydney in Australia. My job with these virtual meetups is to bring different speakers from around the world that are of interest to the wonderful world of financial modelling. And we do it in different formats. So with the Women in Financial Modelling group, we often do a sort of private round table sort of discussion forum. We sometimes have speakers. Today, we've got a very special format. We're doing it in the form of a debate. So we're going to be talking about, we are talking about the difference or the comparison between Google Sheets and Excel. So they are rivals. It seems to me that a lot of the recent enhancement in Excel were inspired by Google Sheets, which may be the case, or it might be the other way around. I'm not sure. So we're going to test that. We are joined today by Alan Murray, who is very early in London. Hi, Alan. How are you going?
I'm doing good, thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us so early.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah. So Alan is a Microsoft MVP. We are, as all three of us are. He runs a fabulous YouTube channel and a meetup group in London. David Benaim is joining us from Cambodia. So middle of the afternoon for you, isn't it, David?
Hello, yes, it's 2 p.m. So didn't have to wake up early or stay late from my side.
Yeah, but thank you for doing this, because as Microsoft specialists, you know, we all use Excel all day, every day, but you probably more than most people are very familiar with what Google Sheets can do, and a lot of us aren't. So I think this is going to be really interesting to just compare the differences between those. Wow, I can see we've got people joining us from all over the world. So the format that we're going to do today is we've done this before. I don't know if you guys have joined us. We did one similar one last year in a few different topics. What we're going to do is have each of the guys give us a very short session on different topics and show how Google Sheets will do it one way and Excel will do it the other way, and then I get you guys to vote. So those of you who are live, you've got a very important job. I need you to vote and tell me which of those, not which, I don't know, which of either Alan or David has presented the best argument for whether Excel is better or whether Google Sheets is better. So I'm going to ask you to vote in a poll, and then we're going to score it. We're going to do 5 rounds. We decided we were going to do 4, and then we'll do a tiebreaker. Yeah, hopefully we're going to have time for that. So we're going to get straight into it. If you have any questions, those of you who are live, you can pop that on your Q&A. Or if you just got sort of banter, can go in the chat. I think that was all I needed to tell you today. So I am going to be timekeeper today. So we might start. Is there anything you guys want to mention before we get started?
How strict are we on times?
You know, I'll give you a bit of warning. Yeah. And any sort of any fight talk, any kind of trash talking you guys want to do, get it over with.
Just Excel's better, and whatever the result of this is, we all know we're going to go back and do the work in Excel anyway. So.
Well, I mean, someone asked in the, thank you, Alan. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Someone asked, is it for Excel online or Excel desktop? Now, that's an interesting question, because most people think that Google Sheets can maybe rival Excel online, but there is no way that Google Sheets can rival Excel desktop. And I'm going to show you that it can. In fact, it's better in many areas than Excel desktop that we've been using for 30 years. Let's go Google. Okay.
So we've got, yeah, I think Alan's got a bit of a cheer team going on in the chat, in the comments. So
Team.
Team Alan or Team David. All right, we are going to get started. So David, are you ready to share your screen? So I'm going to get you to share your screen first, and I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Okay, are you ready? All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give you a warning when we've got 30 seconds or so to go, and we're going to start now. So you're starting with data cleanup, yeah?
Yeah. Sorry, something's going wrong. This is not.
All right. I'm going to restart.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Ready? Go.
No. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
I just pressed the wrong thing. 2 seconds.
That's all right.
Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, you're on.
Okay, so great. So we're going to go through some data cleanup steps here. So what I can do in Google Sheets is I can select this and I can go to data and I can choose data cleanup and trim white space. Look at that. It's trimmed white spaces from 5 selected cells over here. How cool is that? Nice. No formula, no trim function, no Power Query. Just trim it really easily. Or you can even go to data and then data cleanup and cleanup suggestions. And you get this sidebar over here, which can actually give you the trim white spaces that you can see one by one. It can also give you duplicates to remove as well. If you have any, you can press OK to get that there. And then you also have in data cleanup, you have the option to remove duplicates, check for the header rows, remove duplicates, and then it's found them and kept the unique ones. So you have this thing that allows you to say Eva, the first name of the customer. So I can say Chris here, and I can say Roberta here. And it's looked up here and it's gone for Smart Fill, which is Google's equivalent of Excel's Flash Fill. It says, we think we found a thing to do here. So I can press tick. And look at that. It's created a formula for this. I mean, Excel can do Flash Fill, but there's no formula.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? So Flash Fill does go a little bit better than Google Sheets in terms of what it can do. So it won't be able to do this, unfortunately. So this is something that Alan can show. So if he says Evan buys clothes like this, it won't be able to fill that out, but it can do here. So here I have short gender and long gender, and I can say male, male like that, tick, and it has written a VLOOKUP function for me. How cool is that? So I didn't have to do that, even if I don't know VLOOKUP that well. It's been able to do that for me. So that's pretty good. So that is my demo for round number 1. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Cool. Okay, let's all right. So for those of you who are joining live, you will see a little poll has just popped up on your screen.
No, Alan needs to go.
So for those of you who are joining us live on Zoom, please cast your vote.
No, Danielle, Alan needs to go.
Sorry, Alan, you go. Sorry. Hold on. I'm just too quick. Okay, hold that. Go, Alan.
Oh, let me get my screen shared and stuff. Everyone see okay?
Yep, we've got you.
Right. So as David mentioned a little bit there, I'm going to jump straight in and do the flash fill. So for Chris, I can type it in, Control Enter, Control E, flash fill will do it. I've changed a little bit down the bottom where you can see Roberta is in capitals as well, but flash fill remains active. So if I check with Chris and change that and press enter, it now fixes Roberta as well. And flash fill can be done over multiple iterations to make these changes. There is no formula. You don't always want a formula. I could have written the one that David did in 20 seconds. Chris, if I wanted it, I would have written it. Chris buys, what does he buy? I'm so nervous doing this. He buys clothes. And as mentioned, I can run a flash fill and do all that stuff. Now, with the other things, obviously we do have trim functions, remove duplicates button, advanced filter, take your pick. There's a million ways we can do this, unique functions. But the obvious answer will be that I want to throw this into Power Query, isn't it? Which I'm sure you're expecting to do all that stuff and a lot more. Yes, I'm doing this on desktop. The online one is catching up a little bit, but we know it's all kind of coming. So once in here, I can do the trim on the, God, my hand is shaking doing all this stuff, on the region to deal with that. The remove duplicates, I can take care of. Is that all of the columns? If I go back to home and remove those duplicates.
Good.
And then in regards to the last one, which putting in the male, female, if I select that gender column and add a column from examples is the obvious choice from here. I can narrow it into that selection. And then when I start typing for this stuff, so if I put in female, and then if I target one of the males, and it's all done. I accept that column. Oh, what do I do over here? Oh, let's see the one that David threw in. Obviously, I can remove that. And then throw this into wherever I want it to go. I'll just hit close and load for now.
And there we have it.
The 4 things kind of answered. Cool.
Where is it?
Oh, I've just loaded it as a connection. That's my default. I could have loaded it to the table, but my default settings are connection only, which has just appeared on the right-hand side.
All right. Nice. Is that it? Is that it? Is that what you've got? That's all you've got, Alan?
Well, I could have done
Fantastic.
more.
That's incredible.
Just shows out how quick it is. Obviously, I will add in that with the writing of VLOOKUP and that, which is great. Obviously, we could have written that or a better formula. But I always worry about this kind of Google thinking it knows best. I'll write your formula for you. So was that really correct? I mean, definitely test it after. Don't just trust what they're writing.
Yeah.
Well, same with column from examples then, eh?
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready? Are we? You have given your case, Alan?
Yeah. Let me stop my share.
Okay. I love. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we are relaunching the poll. I love the fact that I was so quick off the mark and launched it early when Alan hadn't even had a chance to say anything, and we already had half a dozen votes. So you guys are keen, which is fantastic to see. Glad to see that everybody's so keen to vote. Fantastic. All right. Okay. Wow. Okay. Can you guys see the results as they're coming through?
No.
Is that okay? Woohoo.
I think we need to vote first.
Yeah. No. They're voting. They're voting now. Yeah.
I hope at least I got those half a dozen votes that went.
No, they are voting. They are definitely voting. Okay. All right. Done. We are. Okay. We are 60 to David and 40 to Alan. Okay. So David has won the first round. Fantastic. Well done, Google Sheets.
Ooh, yes. And I will say as well that Power Query is probably the only reason I would choose Excel over Google Sheets these days.
Power Query demolishes.
And you've played your best card already, so let's go with the rest.
Okay. All right. What's our next one? The next one we're talking about is pivots or pivot tables. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So how about we mix it up a little bit? Let's get you to go first this time, Alan.
Oh.
Yeah. You ready to go on pivots? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So
I can't believe
Excel is like the original pivot tables, but Google Sheets can do them as well. But let's see Excel first of all. Yeah, so let's see Excel do pivot tables.
Yeah, all good. Daniel, yeah, you hear me?
Yep. Okay. Go.
Screen share. So I've got this data loaded into a table at the moment, which Google Sheets can't do. And we can lock up a pivot table from this. If I go to insert pivot table, we can create a pivot table just fine from this and do all the things that kind of David has kind of set out here. But something extra using Power Query, which somehow lost to the other things there. I've also connected from an external workbook, keeping the data separate to our report and not kind of hogging it down. So I've got the pivot table loaded over here into a separate file, keeping it different. And I can't remember what David's asking now, but dragging products into, oh, hang Dragging products into rows and quantity into values, generating this pivot table, switching it into doing a number format. If we're going to do some formatting on this, let me just make it into a number. Let me just put the other Excel on my screen, actually. Sorry for the time. I'm just trying to remind myself what David's got listed here. Okay, subcategory. So putting gender into rows as well, dropping it above or dropping it below, a little side by side here. There's a mention of changing layout. So I can switch this into different layouts if I want. I can go to design, switch it into tabular form.
Yeah.
I can choose the options to repeat the item labels down. Mentions of distinct count. Let me just switch that back, just so I can do that. If I right click and summarize by, we can actually, I've got to move this around first, haven't I? We want gender by that. And at the moment, this is doing a count. So there's 3 occurrences of games, but we want a count of the genders ordering them. We have a distinct count in here, no problem. 1 of each at the moment. I'm aware you can't see the data because I'm on a separate workbook. You'll see the data when David demos the same thing. There was talk of slicers to do on here.
Yeah.
So I could put, let's say, gender in as a slicer. Let's put quantity back into values. Let's insert slice. Oh, sorry, let's not do it that way. Let's insert slicer this way. Maybe I'll put gender in there. I can put the gender as a slicer. I can move this around, switch for slicer up, move it into columns. So I can connect this slicer to multiple pivot tables. I can change its style. I can disconnect it. In this example here, I've even created a little table, calendar table. We know I can drag the date in, and I can do year and monthly analysis. I can show values as, just picking up the speak so no time is here, and do percentage differences. I can rank, which Google can't do, running totals, all that kind of stuff. But I've also got my own little calendar table here as well, so that if I wanted to, I could start dragging things like is weekend into here. Oh, got a blank in there. Yeah. And this is all modeled using Power Pivot, which Google doesn't have. And I've got this relayed, and I'm able to extend the capability far beyond what it might.
Okay, we're pretty much to time now, Alan. Is that,
alrighty.
Is that it from you?
Oh yeah, somebody just said it froze. We have got a storm outside. Here.
Yeah.
I know that's what.
I can see you fine. All right. Okay, great. Thanks, Alan. Okay. All right, you're up next, David. Tell us how, so I think we're all reasonably familiar with how pivot tables in Excel work. So let's have a look now how they go in Google Sheets. So you are up, David.
Yes. Thank you. Keeps doing this, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, we get it that if you use power this and power that, you get very heavy solutions that allow you to go far and beyond what 99.99% of Excel users honestly don't know exists, and probably don't need. With Google Sheets, we can create a pivot table over here and press create. And it does so pretty much instantly. I can add rows and columns, so it's quite a nice, clean user interface. So I can say, for example, here that I want to add quantity by product. And then let me do it here. So insert pivot table. So existing worksheet. I can add quantity by product. So I can just drag products and quantity like that into values. And then I can also put gender as a subcategory. And I love this because it's just so easy. If you want to not show the totals, you can just untick that and repeat all row labels, and you have it showing like that. You can drag these up and down and repeat all row labels, and you have them just like that. You don't need to know where to click. Actually, I didn't know how to do that, repeat all row labels, for my first 10 years of using pivot tables in Excel because it's so hidden, as are most of the stuff. They're so hidden. Google, you can't do as much, but all the important stuff you can do. You can do a percent of total, but you can't do all this elaborate.
A little bit fewer options there, aren't there?
Yeah, there's fewer options, but all the importance is there. And then you can also get a distinct count without doing any power this and power that. You can drag in, for example, gender into here, into values. Let's take off this one. And you have here a count, but you can just summarize by and choose a count unique, which is fantastic. Really, really nice. And you even get a function called equals count unique and count unique ifs within Google Sheets directly. No need for lambdas, no need for heavy stuff. It's just built in there nicely. You can't do monthly.
30 seconds to go, David.
30 seconds.
Okay.
You can use slices. So I can go to the data tab. Sorry, I can go to the data tab and choose add a slicer. I will admit that it's not as nice as Excel. And interestingly enough, this one does end up slicing the source data as well as the pivot table, but it can link to multiple pivot tables at the same time. So it just works slightly differently. I will admit that it's not as pretty, but here is my final trick. If you do change some stuff like that, then it will update automatically in one go. Yes. And that is just fantastic. I noticed that when Alan did it, he needed to wait for the power this and the power that to update, and it just takes ages. Google, it just does it automatically because, hey, we live in an age where that should be done automatically. I mean, tech allows for it. So yeah, that's my pitch.
Yeah, thanks, David. Cool. All right, let's see what the audience thinks. So you should see a little poll pop up on your screen. So David, do you want to stay sharing, because we're going to go to you next? So we're going to go, you know, David, Alan, David, Alan, backwards and forwards like that. Oh, okay. So people are voting, and okay, it is close. It is really, really close. Okay. Wow. Okay. I can see it is literally 50-50 at the moment, and we've got a lot of votes. So come on, we need a tiebreaker.
Oh, I knew about quick refresh. I just don't agree that saving one click.
We're off, and then we're back to 50. Okay, we need one more person to vote and break the tie. Come on, guys. We can't have a tiebreaker here. We can't have a tie. We need someone to break the tie. So if you have not voted, you need to vote now in the next. Okay, done. Excel has it. Yes. It is Excel. Well done, Alan. Okay, so we've got one round to Google and one round to Excel. Okay. All right, fantastic. Well done. All right, what's next? What's up next, David? We are going to talk about, I think, validation and data setup. Is that right?
Yep, data setup and validation. Yeah.
Okay, so show us what Google Sheets can do as far as validation and setting up the data. So,
all right.
Go.
So I'm going to select the date column here, and I'm going to go to data and data validation, and then I'm going to choose a date that is, I can do is valid date, which you can't do in Excel, but I'm going to do on or after 1st of January 2020. I'm going to click reject input, and look at this. You want to choose a date? There's your date picker.
Oh,
nice, built in. Just double click it and you
get
that date picker. Okay. You double click any existing one and you get date picker as well. Next one, region, data validation, choose. I'm going to choose, here I have a list of every single country in the world and territory in the world, and I've got it with a prefix of the continent as well. So I'm going to just select all of those. I'm going to give some blank ones just to show you the blanks are ignored, but if there are new countries in the world, I guess we could add those at some stage. And now it is searchable. So if I want all the ones in Oceania, I can search for Oceania. If I want all the ones that start with AUS, Australia, Austria, they go up there. Searchable by absolutely any letter. If I say I want England, I can search for England. If I call it United Kingdom, I can get United Kingdom as well. Depends how you say it. Here I can change it because it's invalid. but super easy. Change it in seconds with autocomplete. This is North America and United States.
Hang on a second. So you're changing it there. Is that changing it on the source as well?
No. The source was.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had me there for a second. All right. So how is that? Why is that changing? Because you changed the source earlier.
Well, no, it wasn't a data validation before.
Oh,
before it was just like this. Yeah, it was just pre-built, but I put in the data validation there.
I'll be quiet. Keep going.
Yeah, and then you've got other ones that are existing here. Now, the other things that you can do is you don't have a table object, but Google Sheets has a compromise which allows me to, well, firstly, I'm going to clear the formatting. And you might have noticed there's a shortcut for clear formatting, which I love. Excel doesn't have that. You can also insert a format and do alternating colors. I call this a kind of a table light thing. So you do get the alternating colors. You do get it to auto expand and auto expand underneath here, except I have some data that I pre-wrote, but it would work. I can also freeze my panes by dragging and dropping. How cool is that? So easy, so quick. You can also then go to insert. I also love the ability to do data validation of checkboxes. This is brilliant.
Nice.
Which just allows you to tick whichever ones you want. And you can multi-select, hold the space bar, and then it does that. You can even set a custom value on it. I'm not going to show you that. It's a bit more advanced. Locking cells. So I think Excel is pretty terrible at this. Google Sheets allows you to A, do it by user, or B, you can protect sheets and ranges and set permissions, and allows you to just do it. Show a warning when you want to enter it. So press OK.
Nice.
And then if someone starts typing over, they just get a warning that well, that's data validation. But here.
And if they paste over it, does it work?
So if they paste over it, it will show them there's a warning that they shouldn't do it.
Oh, that's good. Okay, we're over time on that one now.
Yeah. So that's it for me.
Great. That's fantastic. Well done, David. All right, Alan, remind us of what Excel can do as far as validations and data setups.
All righty.
Okay, so Alan, you can share, or David, can you stop sharing?
That's right, I'm doing it.
You're doing it. Okay.
You didn't share it with me though.
All right. So let's see what Microsoft Excel can do.
So just going through the list here from what I know. Now, this is Google's territory. It's brilliant at data entry. You know, it's this pretend spreadsheet. It's great for filling in timesheets, not for proper power stuff. So we're in its world right now, trying to fight in its world. Clearing formats. Now, obviously, if I needed to clear these kind of formats, I can select what I want. Home tab, clear and formats. No problem with that kind of stuff. Putting it in a table, clicking there, Control T, it's in a table. I can style that, name it, do all that jazz. What's next up? Validation and fixing the validation elsewhere. So I know there's some awkward validation in parts here. Excel's got go to special. Yes, there are shortcuts for it. I'm just doing it via the ribbon at the moment. And I can ask it to find validation, just tells me where there's various little validations hunting around. If I want to remove that, I can click anywhere within that range, pop into data validation. I don't really use shortcuts much, guys. There's a little checkbox to apply this to other cells with the same settings. So I don't necessarily need to remember what cells there are. I can make that edit and clear it. No problem. I can obviously make a data validation from this range here if I wanted to. That's no problem. And because I've got the, if I select my table column, not a sheets column here, David would have to go over like this and do little fancy stuff. Because he doesn't have this table feature, but I can select that table and do the data validation on this list. And I could select this range that he's conveniently put a duplicate in. Because, which I'm ignoring because he's talking do that. And I'm just going to move along here. And as I do so, this validation will auto copy down due to the table. The table is doing that. I don't have to go selecting, guessing what I'll need in the future. Other data validation things and things that Google won't be able to do is this is working on its data entry. Google loves data entry. When it comes to reporting, obviously I can use functions to generate this, to dedupe this list and stuff.
Bringing out the big guns there, Alan.
Yeah, and get something ready.
Yeah.
So if I'm not using it for data entry and I want to drop down this for a report, feeding from this kind of stuff, then I can then hook into that spill range there. So I can do this list, reference that. So I've got the blank at the end because of what I added, yeah. That's not a problem. That's just me adding this extra row. Let's produce that. I can't remember what it. And now I've got that drop down, which because I've accessed the spill range with the hash, which Google can't do.
You put the hash at the end. So you just picked up
now I've got that dynamic list for my reports. And once again, I don't have to go selecting excessive cells. Yeah. It's a completely dynamic solution, table to a spill range to a drop down. I did just quickly create a couple of drop downs over here. Oh, sorry.
What's that, David?
But they're also complete.
No, not
heckling.
Obviously, we know it's here. So just talking now, I did create a couple of quick drop downs here. So I've done a dependent list. I've got a country. I've got a drop down for Europeans in this country. I have a hidden sheet called lists where I've got some DAs working on there to get this dependent drop down, which I think is the searchable stuff coming in. We all know in Excel is pretty fresh. Oh dear, what's happening there? Clicked one of his damn links. So I lost my trail there. Yeah, to compete with what he did. My argument on what he did, which I think is very fancy, is impressive. However, unless David's got an answer to this, I don't use Google Sheets, but it puts whole stuff in. Like, do I want America's greater than sign United States? I just want United States. So it's a fancy tool, but I don't want all that fluff. I just want the country.
Oh, wow. Well, hold that thought. I have your answer in my next demo. So that's a great question.
Can either of them do a searchable drop down? France wants to know.
Yes, Google Sheets. That's why I demoed. Yeah, you can search from any character in the list.
And what about Excel, Alan? Have you got that? The searchable?
Not on this. I think it's in Insiders, isn't it? I think
it's what? Sorry.
It's on the, David, is it on the Insiders only at the moment?
Yeah, it's coming out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have it yet either. You don't have it either.
Yes. This machine I'm using.
Searchable drop downs. Looking forward to it.
So searchable drop downs is coming. It's not here yet, and it does remove duplicates automatically as well. Yeah.
Okay. Let's launch the next poll. So stay up, Alan. You are going to be.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
For the next. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. So everybody, you guys got the hang of this now. So we are now voting on whether David with Google Sheets or Alan with Excel presented the better argument for validations and data setup in their respective spreadsheeting tools. So yeah, okay, fantastic. All right. Oh, we are on 50-50 again. Okay. You guys, we Alan said we've got a few questions. Shortcuts. Yeah, same for Excel Online. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to call it. The winner is David with Google Sheets. Okay, we are back to David. So it is 2 to David and 1 to Excel. So Google Sheets is in the lead at the moment. So we're going to go next. We are going to jump back to Excel. So Alan, you're up next, and we're going to talk about dynamic arrays. So very exciting. The dynamic arrays are relatively new to Excel. So we're going to see how each of those go.
Okay. Share my screen.
All right. Dynamic arrays in Excel.
Okay. So doing some dynamic array examples here, which I should stress, this was set up by David. So those 3 functions are definitely something that Excel doesn't necessarily have at the moment. So I'm going to tease you with stuff that Excel does have over that. I already mentioned in the previous one, Google does not have the hash sign. You cannot reference a spill range in Google, which if you've got a dynamic array and you can't reference the spill, it's not dynamic then, is it? straight away. So Google should lose because they can't actually make it dynamic. So they've lost that fight already, in my opinion. But doing a filter function, and that's the reference to the hash notation, which is answered there. Google doesn't have it. With a filter function on this, I've got it run off a table. Obviously, Google doesn't have tables either. So I'm going to run it off this table. What am I meant to do? Games and female. So in here, I'm going to write my criteria, TBL formulas, use my table here, open square bracket. I've completely forgot what it was. Was it games? Games. This is why we're worried about the time. We forget what we've got to do.
Yeah, you are at a disadvantage because David built this.
Games.
So to find your way around.
Yes, I mean, I have seen it in both, but yeah.
Table formulas.
Yeah,
filter. Yes.
Equals F.
Yeah.
Worrying when you're doing this on the fly, nice and quick, and that should retrieve that. And obviously, I'll do some formatting and stuff. So that's filter doing it. Now, moving on to the others, stack columns. Excel doesn't have a function for that yet, and Google does, which is why it's written there. So I would use Power Query, which I think is a better approach anyway, which I can demo, but I'm a bit wary of time. So hopefully, you guys know about this anyway. I could do append queries, numerous tables, different workbook, much better than the formula. The formula's there if you want it. Sort N, Excel doesn't have that either. However, what Excel does have is lambda functions. So yes, I could write a function like this to get it done. And if I'm copying that correctly, that's my equivalent of doing a sort N, which I've got with an index function and a couple of sequences, which if you know that stuff is not too difficult, but obviously for a newbie, it's not going to be as nice as what David's going to demo because they have a built-in function. However, we do have lambdas in Excel. So I quickly created my own sort N function last night. It's a quick one. It doesn't have so much polish. And I've just got my own stuff where I can start writing in TBL formulas, which column number, what column number are we doing? Third one. Whether it's sorting ascending or not, false, and how many, and I'll reference this little cell that I've prepared up above. And we can, with the ability to create our own functions, which Google cannot do, I could have created that however I wanted, as far as I wanted. We're not constrained by what Google decide to give you, although they do necessarily more than Excel. Also, remember, Google cannot reference a spill range. So I've put this little thing here, so I can do a sum function. If I want to total this for a completely dynamic solution, what am I doing? I've completely forgotten. I can reference my spill range for my hashtag, say that I want to sum column 3 here, and I can sum this, and it's fully dynamic. If somebody changes this cell, obviously this range is changing, the total is changing. For David to do that, he's going to have to once again guess and go, if I do it on the first 15, hopefully it won't go bigger than that, and all this 1998 stuff.
Fantastic. Love it.
Cool, and that's probably it. It's going to show a query function. Obviously, I've got Power Query.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
About that shenanigans.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Okay, we've got some interesting comments actually. Yeah. Hardcore users will prefer Excel over Sheets. Unfortunately, most users aren't hardcore. Interesting. That's an interesting comment. Thanks, Renia.
I will challenge that with my next demo.
All right. So you are up next, David. So you are going to show dynamic arrays in Google Sheets. So show us what Google Sheets has got.
Yes. Sorry. Okay, so
showing off your YouTube channel there. Both of these guys, by the way, have got fantastic YouTube channels. You've got to check them out.
Yes. And a couple of the things that I showed that I'm going to show are I've just made videos on. So here's something you can't do in Excel, the split function. Alan was like, I don't want to see the heavy solutions. I just want to see United States or UK equals split, text, comma, delimiter, which is this chevron in speech marks, close brackets. Look how easy that is. Drag it down. Super nice. You can have an if error to avoid this, but it's pretty nice and easy to use. Filter. So Alan did show how you can do filter for 2 variables. If you use some brackets and some times and some stuff. Google, you have condition 1, comma condition 2, comma condition 3. How easy is that? Why can't Excel do that? Whereas I can do here, for example, these 3 columns, these columns, comma, condition 1 is going to be this one is equal to, in speech marks, female, and this is equal to games, like that. So just comma, comma, exactly like we would do a sum if or an if function as well. Stack columns. I love this. What you can do in Google is I can say equals and then curly brackets, select, say, this range, and then semicolon, and then this range. And then I close my curly brackets and I get the combined data set dynamically. No append, no power this, power that, just a function that has what, like 10 characters? That's all you need to do. Super straightforward. Next up, we have sort n. So you have this in Google, sort n, i.e. give me the top number of rows. So I could say, give me the top out of these ones, where this one, sort by this one. Give me the top 3, and then display ties mode. I'm going to ignore that, sort by this column, and then ascending true, like that. And it just gives you those sorted for the top 3. And then you have query, and query can do absolutely.
Query. There's more.
Yeah, query is unbelievable. Query is by far the most sophisticated function that Excel or Google Sheets can do. Data, so you select all of the data here, and then I can say, comma, where's my query? You can actually write SQL-like code in here. So I'm going to do select, comma B, then comma F, then comma G, then comma A, where G is equal to single quotations F for female, close my brackets, and then I get all of these columns in whatever order that I want. Can't do that with Excel, with a filter, with other things. And here is my query parameters list. I love this. I built a video on it last week about how to build this. Someone can create any querying. So they want to have a minimum quantity, say this is going to be 20,000. The outputs are displayed here. So date picker for the start date, or I can delete any one of these products. This is a validation range here, so I can put United and searchable drop-down list in any capacity. And then what columns do I want to show in what order? Let's have the F column. Let's change this to the C column. Switches around the columns. Do we want to sort it by anything? Let's remove these parameters here. And let's have 1st of March 2020. Oh, sorry. So let's use a date picker like that. So what do you want to
showing that date picker one more time?
Sort the ascending. So this is a query builder. I absolutely love this, and I've built multiple client solutions with this. If you want to learn how to do it, I did make a video on it. It was one of the last video that I did.
You know what? I'm going to send out the recording to everybody who has signed up for this live, and I will include links to both of your channels as well, so everybody can check out those videos. I think we're pretty much to time, David. Is that it from you? Or have you got more?
That's it for me. Yeah.
You're all good? All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, David. All right, so that was our last round. So let's see how they did. So which of those tools or which of those presenters do you think presented the best options for either Excel or for Google Sheets as far as dynamic arrays goes? So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it could well be a tie. So we are going to then next we're going to do some closing arguments. So we'll go back to David and get you next to do some closing arguments. Just if there was anything else you wanted to just kind of just hammer home and let us know which you think is the best. So all right. Ooh, okay. All right, I am going to call it. And the winner of that round was David. Okay. it seems that Google Sheets is the winner. So we are not going to need a tiebreaker. However, we will still do some closing arguments. So I'll go back to you, David. So if you could just sum up and tell us, what do you think is fantastic about Google Sheets over Excel?
Well, I bet a lot of people that came to this webinar thought I was going to be talking about the collab features. I haven't mentioned them once. It's obvious that they are way superior than Google than Excel. But what I've done is I've managed to convince people that with data setup, validation, even with analysis like pivot tables, and also there's no query this, no query that. It's just people can pick it up and do it and enter a checkbox and have a data.
One more time. Say it one more time.
It's easier for people to just like kind of build it up. Auto refreshing pivot tables. You don't need to know to click there and click there. And then if you want the hardcore stuff, if you want the true experts, you got your better dynamic arrays, which Excel copied, by the way, as proud as they were to launch it. They copied that. Google had it years before. And they have the query function, which is unbelievable. Excel doesn't come close to doing that, even with its power stuff.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, David. Over to you, Alan, for your closing arguments. So why do you think we should
David started his closing argument by saying, no query this, no query that, and then ended it by saying, Google has query. Come on, David. I prepared a little slide for my closing argument.
Oh,
something. So
okay.
Little thing of our little Google Sheets there, and then the powerful Excel. No, I mean, from what we're talking about, because obviously we've been discussing this in advance, huge strengths of Google, obviously the collaboration it would destroy, because it's all online and Microsoft is catching up with the online stuff. So we already knew that. The other big strengths are data entry and formulas. Google should never have won the other two rounds, not a chance, with cleanup. But data entry, it should win. Formulas, it should win, but Lambda's come in to kind of take that over. And the complete lack of tables and hash referencing just makes the whole thing a bit silly. You were selecting grid references there. Well, nobody does that anymore, come on. So I'll just put a little slide together, just listing all these things that Excel has over it. There's no Power Query in Google Sheets. They cannot reference a dynamic array, which means the dynamic array is not actually a dynamic array. For a start, it's an array. It doesn't have tables, which are dynamic. It doesn't have data modeling. It doesn't have a DAX language. It can't do relationships. It can't do data types, where we've got Power Query, business, hooking with online, all from stuff. And obviously Microsoft, we can hook in with its BI and Teams, etc. as well on Power Automate, which goes outside Excel, but we talk about the suite because Google is using its suite in those formulas. So it'll be unfair not to say that Microsoft has it as well.
And it's pretty sweet.
Boom. And Google's just taking it online without kind of names from it. A lot of that power is coming from obviously their web-based products. So yes, there's certain things that Google is much better at, like the data entry and stuff and the collab. But when you want like real spreadsheet stuff, people go for Excel. And we all know we do because of all the things listed here.
Yeah, it's what we have. All right. Oh, and Lambda. Fantastic.
Yeah, I created my own formula in Lambda. How can that not win the round?
You did. Yeah. All
my own sorting rather than what they did.
Is that it from you, Alan?
Yes, that is it.
Okay, so
I've got to stop, sorry.
Yeah, stop sharing. So I have, okay, so we've got somebody, Christoph said he voted for Excel because he is a financial modeler and he did that out of allegiance to Excel. So, thank you, Christoph, that's very nice. All right, so we are just launching the poll to see who won the closing arguments. This was our tiebreaker, just in case we needed one. We didn't need one, so we so far have got 3 to Google and 1 to Excel. And okay, we have got another round for Excel. Well done, Alan. So he
had slides. I didn't know that was.
He had slides. Anything goes. I never said you couldn't have slides.
It was a good argument. It was a good argument.
It was. So we've, yeah, fantastic. So yeah, pretty close, very close. So well done, David, and well done, Google. Fantastic. Rainier says, I would not build a proper financial model in Sheets. I have seen it done. Now, we have a question from Lance Rubin. He says, what about building a three-way financial model that rolls the actuals and scenarios, which would be easier to tackle? What do you think about building a full three-way model rolling? I don't see why you couldn't do it. From what we've seen today, I don't see why you couldn't do it in Excel, in Google. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I can go first. You can definitely do it in Google Sheets. Yeah, you would have just different. Yeah, you could have data coming in from different places, and then you could have the query function to return. You could say things like list out all the times our budget is greater than actuals from this month for this customer, or anything like that. You could do that with the query builder sheet. Absolutely love it.
Yeah,
So
fantastic. Any comments, Alan?
I missed a bit of the question. What was the question, sorry?
Oh, just about doing a three-way model, and could you do that in Google Sheets? I don't see why you couldn't do it. Obviously, you can do it in Excel. You could even do it in Power BI, as I know Lance has done. So, yeah, no reason why you couldn't do it in Excel.
Sorry, David, saying about the bringing data in. Obviously, we can bring in Google Sheets data into Excel and into Power BI. So whereas Google Excel to the data entry, like the pretty calendar picker and the pretty check boxes and all that stuff is nice. You know, it's not real stuff, is it? But we can use it for that, for capturing data entry, like good validation.
Modeling.
And then we can always load it into Power BI or load it into Excel for the big boy stuff.
Yeah. That is true.
Which is good. They work together. They're not really enemies, they're friends.
Yeah. So let's have a look at any questions we need to answer. Yeah. So. Is Alan on YouTube? Is he owns Excel YouTube? Yes, he is definitely on YouTube. He is a computer gaga. Lots of fun. Yeah, good job. Fantastic. Gunjan would like to know, is there a capacity limit in Google Sheets? Like, is there a file size limit in Google Sheets, David?
So I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure. I know that Google Sheets does run a lot slower when you have a lot of data in it compared to Excel. If I have like 100,000 rows, I wouldn't use Google Sheets. If I have like 10,000, I would, but more than that, 20,000, I would probably use Excel as well. Yeah.
You'd go straight to Power Query, yeah?
Yeah, I go straight to Power Query. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you would. All right. So, can you guys see any questions or comments that you wanted to answer in the chat?
I just put in there. There was a
the semicolon issue.
It's a regional thing.
It's regional.
Yeah, I answered that.
Yeah. Because Excel does that too with the semicolon instead of commas. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're based in Europe because of a different decimal separator, that's probably it.
Oh, I don't know. Someone said keyboard shortcuts are a big plus for Excel. Google Sheets has a shortcut for paste values, a shortcut for paste formats that Excel doesn't. It also has clear formatting shortcuts. There are definitely some shortcuts that I wish Excel had that Google doesn't have, and shortcuts that I wish the other way. I will say that I use a lot of Excel. I'm an MVP with Excel. So I have been showcasing Google Sheets today. I very much absolutely love Excel. I love Power Query. I do love the Power stuff. And I did a big video on Lambdas a couple of weeks ago. All that stuff is super fun and super impressive. As Alan said, I think they do just work quite well together. I sometimes do a combination of both. And yeah, there's stuff that's really great about both.
Yeah. So thank you for taking the opposite side here, David, and well done. So we are all Microsoft MVPs. We all love Excel, and it's a testament to show that Google did so well in this debate. So thank you, David, for organising all of that. I think that is just about it for our question. All is well in the end, Vivek. That is absolutely true. Our next session we've got coming up in a couple of weeks, we're going to hear from Ken Pools, and it's going to be Power This and Power That. It is going to be all about Excel's power technologies. So it's going to be more on lots of different, we'll be talking about Power Query, Power BI, Power This and Power That. So I will look forward to seeing you guys then. So thank you so much for joining us today, Alan and David. Everybody who, thanks Lance, thanks everybody. I am going to send out a copy of the recording. I might send out a copy of the chat too, because there's just so many comments, so many fantastic comments and contributions in the chat, as well as on the YouTube video. So thanks everybody, and I will